Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
You know what's crazy? I just watched the Toronto Blue Jays go from potentially having one of the most legendary off-seasons in baseball history to basically being left at the altar not once, but twice in less than 24 hours. And honestly, the way this all went down tells us everything we need to know about where baseball is heading right now. So here's what happened. Kyle Tucker, arguably the best available player this winter, chose the Dodgers on Thursday night. Then the very next morning, Bo Bichette, hometown hero, fan favorite, the guy who's been bleeding Blue Jays blue since 2016, signs with the New York Mets. Just like that, Toronto's championship dreams took a massive hit. Now, before we go any further, let me be clear about something. The Blue Jays didn't just sit on their hands here. They made Tucker a legitimately competitive offer. We're talking serious money, serious term. But the Dodgers came in with something absolutely bonkers. $240 million over 4 years. Do the math on that. $60 million per year. And here's the kicker. Tucker gets opt-outs after year 2 and year 3. If he plays well, he can bail and get even more money. If things go sideways, he's still locked into that insane annual salary. It's basically a no-lose situation for him. The Bichette situation hits different, though. This one's emotional. Imagine being a Blue Jays fan who watched this kid come up through the system almost a decade ago. You saw him single in his first major league at-bat. You watched him develop into an all-star. And then, just last October, you saw him homer off Shohei Ohtani in Game 7 of the World Series. What a way to end your time with a franchise, right? Now he's heading to Queens on a 3-year, $126 million deal with the Mets, where he'll be playing third base for the first time in his big league career. Here's where it gets really interesting from a baseball economics perspective. Both Tucker and Bichette had longer-term offers on the table with higher total guarantees. The Phillies reportedly wanted to give Bichette 7 years at $200 million, but both these guys said no to the long-term security and took shorter deals with higher annual values instead. Why? Because they're betting on themselves and they're playing the market like chess grandmasters. See, the next couple of free agent classes are weak when it comes to position player stars. Tucker and Bichette know this. If they perform well over the next couple years, they can opt out and hit the market again when there's barely any competition. They'll clean up. It's actually brilliant when you think about it. And let's talk about what these contracts mean for the sport itself. Bichette's $42 million annual average just set a new record for infielders. Tucker's deal has a net present value of $57.1 million per year, which shatters Juan Soto's previous all-time record. We're in unprecedented territory here. The timing couldn't be more significant either. The current collective bargaining agreement expires after the 2026 season. You better believe every small market owner is going to point at these contracts and scream about competitive balance. They're going to push hard for a salary cap. The agents I've talked to expect these deals to be Exhibit A in arguments for major structural changes to how baseball operates financially. Players have resisted caps for decades, but the pressure is building like never before. Now, traditionally, we evaluate contracts by looking at dollars per win above replacement. For Bichette, if he produces around 3.5 wins per season, which he's done in 4 of the last 5 years, the Mets are paying about $12 million per win. That's actually right around market rate. It's not unreasonable at all when you break it down that way. But Tucker, you've got to throw that whole framework out the window. Nobody's realistically projecting Tucker as a 5-win player for 4 straight years. The Dodgers don't care. They're not going for efficiency. They're going for dominance. They want the best players, period, and they'll pay whatever it takes. This is the same approach the Yankees took when they won 3 straight World Series at the turn of the century, and we all know how that worked out for them. Here's something that makes this whole situation even more wild. Tucker and Bichette weren't even supposed to be the main story this offseason. That was supposed to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but the Blue Jays locked him up last spring on a 14-year, $500 million extension. At the time, some people questioned whether that was too much for a first baseman. Looking at today's market, though, $35.7 million per year with no opt-outs for a 26-year-old superstar who just had a historic postseason. That looks like an absolute steal now. The Blue Jays' offseason started with a bang when they signed Dylan Cease to a record contract for a pitcher. Everyone thought they were building something special. They still might be, to be fair. Their projected wins above replacement is second only to the Dodgers. But losing out on Tucker and then watching Bichette walk to a division rival? That stings in a way that's hard to quantify. What really gets me is thinking about Bichette in New York. He's going to be playing alongside Marcus Semien again, his old teammate from Toronto who he got really close with. That reunion is going to be special, and yeah, he's never played third base in the majors before, but every scout and talent evaluator I've heard from expects him to handle it just fine. The real question was never about his glove anyway, it's about whether he can keep producing that elite offensive output. The bottom line is this. We just witnessed a 48-hour period that might define the entire baseball landscape for the next decade. Two massive contracts. Two teams that went all in, one team that tried hard but came up empty, and a sport that's hurtling toward a labor showdown with billions of dollars and the entire competitive structure hanging in the balance. The Blue Jays still have a chance to salvage something if Cody Bellinger falls into their lap, but let's be real, that's a long shot. For now, they're left wondering what could have been while watching two incredible players suit up for their biggest competitors. That's baseball in 2026. The rich get richer, the deals get crazier, and the rest of us just try to keep up.